Okay, sorry guys, so hey guys, what's up everybody? So today this video going reaction to today's video of PS4 Part 7 is Black Panther United Forever. So
for affordable home and style staples to help you get ready for anything, Etsy has it.
Car insurance sorted. That you've just used confused. Justusedconfused.com.
okay, so reaction to the Black Panther United Forever. So before the video, make sure to thumb up and don't subscribe to the dedication on, and everyone get 100k subscribers. Get everyone in there. So yeah, so that reaction.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Rebooted MCU. Today we are here with Rebooted MCU Phase 4 Part 7. We have an action-packed episode today, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. The 7th project of Rebooted MCU Phase 4 is Black Panther United Forever. The movie opens up with text coming across the screen that says Atlantis, shortly after the defeat of Thanos. We watch as Namor, played by Raul Castillo, is swimming towards the Imperial Palace. We see that he passes statues of Poseidon and Emperor Thanor. As we see him swimming through the gates, he announces, "My loyal subjects, I apologize for my prolonged absence from you. I'm still trying to make sense of it all, but I was gone, then came back, and immediately was summoned to battle by our friend T'Challa. But I'm back now and prepared to resume rule." Suddenly watches Atlantean guards surround Namor as he shouts,
I'm going to swim, Mom. I'm going to swim, Mom. I'm going to swim, Mom. Hey, Mom, do you have a Google going with? Because I'm not have. Mom, are you going? Mom, Mom, are you? Wait. Hold on. Mom, do you have a cooling wave? Because I'm not got any of that.
I'm just talking breathing off and then I'll be round and I'll bring you a Coca-Cola, right?
Okay, fine. Fuck's sake. Sorry guys, so just wait for a special clip, so yeah.
"What is the meaning of this? I'm your king." "It's okay, boys. No need to crowd him." As we see two figures move forward, they're revealed to be Atuma, played by Alex Livanali, and Namora, played by Mabel Cadena. "Ah, Atuma, proud warrior of Atlantis. Please instruct these guards to have some sense. Have they forgotten their king?" "It is good to have you back, Namor, but you must know that some things have changed since you have been gone. You're no longer king. I am." "What? This is absurd. You know I am the rightful king of Atlantis." "Rightful's a strong word, but you left. And when you did, I took control. Atlantis needs a strong ruler, and I stepped up. I've been doubting your leadership since you brought that surface woman here all those years ago. Even worse, you conceded defeat at the hands of the Black Panther and those fantastic fools. You've shown your weakness, Namor. The people of Atlantis need a leader who will not be afraid to show the true might of Atlantis when challenged. I've done that, and we're better off for it. You sent our people to die in other nations' conflicts. I kept them home and safe from harm while you've been gone. A good king knows when others need help, and we made an alliance. It isn't weakness, it's diplomacy. Namor, you can't possibly agree with this madness. I do. Atum has been a great leader, and I support him fully. He raised serious concerns about your fitness as king, and, well, I, along with the rest of Atlantis, agreed. This will not go unpunished. I'm forced to unleash the full power of Namor the Submariner on you. Imperious! Suddenly, we watch as Atuma and the Atlantean guards attack Namor viciously. They beat him and knock him out. Atuma stares at Namor's beaten body and says, "Lock him up in the cellar. I'll keep him alive as an act of goodwill, but the rest of his days will be spent pondering his failures as king." As we watch Namor being carried away, the title card appears. We cut inside a Wakandan ship as we see T'Challa, played by Michael B. Jordan, staring at his phone. We see that he has sent multiple messages to Nakia that have gone unanswered. "Brother, you have to leave her alone. This is the 7th fight you two have gotten in the past few months. Perhaps it's best that things ended when they did." T'Challa turns to see Shuri, played by Latita Wright, and says, "Perhaps you are right, but I miss her. I feel lonely. Even though we fight, she has always been so good to me. She has my back. Makes me feel like I am worthy of being king." We see a figure walk from behind Shuri. "Your Majesty, perhaps focusing on the mission will make you feel better." The figure is revealed to be Okoye, played by Denai Guerrero. Speaking of, Ross, how far are we from the spot? We see that the plane is being driven by Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman, who says, "Okoye, you know I wouldn't have called you if this wasn't serious. Most of the mutants we have located are relatively harmless. Their powers and abilities are minor to say the least. But this one has caused massive damage around Egypt. We got 2 reported sightings of her near Cairo, but we can't confirm it. That's why we called you guys in. Okay, here we are. Prepare to drop." We watch as Ross lowers the ship, as we watch T'Challa suit up in the Black Panther outfit and drop out of the ship, followed by Shuri wielding her vibranium gauntlets and Okoye wielding her spear. We watch as the group wanders around Cairo. The local townspeople are all amazed at the group, especially the Black Panther, who is having people walk up in an attempt to take pictures with him. "You know, brother, perhaps we did not think this one through." "Good point. We need to split up and search on our own. Use your Kamoyo beats to communicate if you find anything." We watch the group walk around for a bit and talk to locals, till T'Challa stumbles upon a woman who catches his eye. She takes note of him and begins to run away. T'Challa holds his Kamoyo beads up to his mask and screams, "I found her!" We watch as T'Challa, Shuri, and Okoye begin chasing the woman. We notice that the sky begins turning black and lightning begins rolling. Watch as the group begins to fight the woman, who begins causing massive rain and hail to pelt the team and the surrounding area. T'Challa eventually manages to leap and pull her to the ground. The woman is scared and tries to push T'Challa off of her. "There's no need to fear. My name is King T'Challa. I'm the king of Wakanda. We are conducting research on the effects of the Golden Awakening, which is, as it turns out, a mutation. You've been shown to have gained new abilities from this mutation, and we'd like to study the effects in Wakanda. We mean you no harm."
What the is rainbow dust? Yes, it's a real product. No, it's not illegal, and it might just change your life.
And how can I be sure of that? We watch as T'Challa stands up, removes his mask, and offers his hand to the woman, which she accepts. As she stands, T'Challa asks, "So, what is your name?" "My name is Oro Oro Monroe, played by Zoe Kravitz." "It is nice to meet you, Oro Oro. It is a beautiful name, filled with power. Come, I will introduce you to my sister Shuri and Wakanda's top soldier, Okoye. I'll give you a rundown of what we are going to do back at the Royal Talon Flyer." "Is it a plane?" "I'm not a fan of planes." "Why's that?" "I'd rather not talk about it, but I just don't like them and I'd prefer not to ride on one." "There's no need to be afraid, I promise. Here, take my hand." Watch as T'Challa extends his hand to Monroe, who slowly looks at him, shoots a little smile, and grabs his hand and follows him to the ship. We cut back to Atlantis as we see Namor still in chains as an Atlantean guard enters the cellar with a pot of food in his hand. He says, "This pains me to see my former king in such a pathetic state. This is what happens when you fail to act in the best interest of your people. Suddenly watches Namor springs to life, sending a powerful water blast at the guard, knocking him out, and he uses his remaining strength to break from the change. However, this output of energy completely drained Namor of his remaining energy and strength, as he has gotten considerably weaker from being locked up and malnourished. As he watched Namor attempt to escape Atlantis, guards swarm into the Imperial Palace and scream, "Atuma! Namor is broken free. We believe he's attempting to flee the water." Atuma chuckles. "Clever, clever, but I'm not concerned. He will not get far." "Byra, stop Atuma before he gets to the surface." We see that the guard standing next to Atuma is revealed to be Byra, played by Seth Rollins, who looks at Atuma and says, "Yes, my king." As we watch him take off, we briefly watch a battle between Namor and Byra. While Byra is much more powerful than Namor, Namor manages to use his intellect to outsmart Byra and reaches the surface inside Wakanda. We cut inside the Wakandan royal palace as we see Queen Ramonda, played by Angela Bassett, and M'Baku, played by Winston Duke, sitting in the royal hall chatting. "So, you are positive only 5 members of the Jabari tribe were impacted by the Golden Awakening?" "Yes, I heard from King T'Challa Wakanda is in the 20s. It's a crazy phenomenon to say the least." So we watch as the doors of the royal palace burst open as we see Namor burst in, followed by members of the Dora Milaje. Io, played by Florence Kasumba, looks at Ramonda and says, "My queen, please excuse the intruder. We have almost apprehended him, but he's a little more powerful than we initially thought. Io, with all respect, do you not recognize that this is Namor, the King of Atlantis, one of our closest allies? King Namor, I must say, this is not very dignified of you. What brings you on Wakandan soil on such short notice?" "Queen, I ask sanctuary from my people." So he watches Namor passes out and falls on the ground. M'Baku looks at Queen Ramonda and says, "Your Majesty, something appears to be wrong. Seriously wrong. Io, get Namor to the medical wing in Shuri's lab immediately. I will call to inform the king that he is needed back in Wakanda at once." We cut to a few hours later as we see T'Challa, Ramonda, and Okoye standing outside of an operating room where we see Namor being operated on by Wakandan doctors. T'Challa turns to Queen Ramonda. "So you are telling me Namor just showed up like this with no explanation, seeking sanctuary?" "Yes, he didn't even get a complete sentence out before he passed out in the doorway of the Grand Hall. I have no idea what he is doing here, or why we have not been alerted to anything going on for the last few months in Atlantis. Namor is a good king, Mother. He has been there to aid us in every conflict we have had. He helped us when Klaw attacked, and when Wakanda was attacked by the Black Order. He was there to aid us every time we needed it. Okoye, keep me posted on his recovery. When he is conscious and able to talk, let me know." "Yes, my king." We then watch as T'Challa and Queen Ramonda walk into Shuri's lab where we see Shuri running tests on Oro Oro. "Shuri, any update on the tests you have been running on the Outsider?" "Please, Mother. Her name is Oro Oro, and as of now she's an honorary Wakandan." "T'Challa, you know I mean nothing by that comment. I am more open to outsiders than I was before, but I still have my hesitations. Regardless, you already know this pretty girl's name, and Nakia would not be happy to hear that. Enough with the awkward family drama. Now, I have been running some tests, but unfortunately, there's only limited research available for me to know what exactly I should be looking at in the first place. 4 people have published research on this. Our old pal Reed Richards, some man by the name of Charles Xavier, Herbert Wyndham, and some very old documents by someone named Nathaniel Essex. Well, using their research and your discoveries, what can you tell us about Oro Oro?" "Well, as you know, brother, most of the mutations we have seen here in Wakanda are fairly minor. Most common occurrences we have seen include elemental control, bodily augmentation, and some increased durability. But Oro Oro, her body, the power it possesses is at a level that I've never seen before. Truly, her body, it interacts with the atmosphere."
Colgate Sensitive Instant Relief for instant and long-lasting protection all year round.
What if your card offered you benefits?
Come again? I'll explain it this way. When she's angry, her emotions can cause the sky to grow pitch black and immediately summon a massive rain shower and lightning storm. While, when she's calm, she can cause the water to ripple calmly and make the surroundings tranquil. It's truly unbelievable. Child, how long did it take for you to realize your powers after the awakening happened? I wouldn't say I've ever realized my powers. They come and go. Like Shuri said, I don't really have control over them yet. It's scary at times. I don't want to hurt people. I just want to be left alone and keep to myself. When people bother me, I lose control and people get hurt. Well, perhaps you should stay here until you have better control of your abilities. Wakanda is a suitable place for someone of your power. T'Challa, perhaps you should show Oro Oro around. As friends, of course, not on a date. Oro Oro, come with me. I will show you around Wakanda. As we see Oro Oro and T'Challa leave the lab, Ramonda looks at Shuri. What exactly happened between T'Challa and Nakia? He refuses to talk about the why, but he is hurt. I'm not sure if he is hurt about losing her or why they ended things off in the first place. We cut back to Atlantis to see Atuma sitting on his throne with Namora by his side. We suddenly watch as Byra enters the Imperial Palace and says, King Atuma, it appears that Namor has escaped from the sea and is likely taken refuge in Wakanda. We can launch a full on-land offensive and recover Namor if you wish. Byra, you fool, we can't launch an attack against Wakanda. Well, it might be my belief that growing so close to King T'Challa and his people was a mistake. There is something to be said for the power of the Wakandans. We would be fools to start a conflict with them. King Atuma, with all due respect, the longer Namor stays in Wakanda, the more likely it is that he recovers and returns to Atlantis to reclaim the throne at full power and potentially with some friends. Are you questioning my power, Namora? No, I'm merely stating the obvious. There's a reason Namor was king, and why Atlantis, for the most part of our history, has been impervious to the struggles of the outside world. Even with how powerful you are, Namor is not someone to be taken lightly. The best thing to do, my king, would be to have someone other than an Atlantean kill Namor. That is an excellent idea, Byra, but where could we possibly get such a warrior? Wakanda is not going to be another Troy. A simple wooden horse won't be the key to entry. This warrior needs to be skilled, top of the line, someone who has experience. My king, I believe I know someone who could help. Go on. Remember the man who we caught dumping chemicals into the ocean? When I went to confront him, I found out he is a man by the name of James Wesley. He told me he works for the mayor's office of New York, and he was discarding a failed formula for some man that the mayor works for. In our conversation, he mentioned that he had some fighters. Men who are handy with guns, a lady who is a master swordsman, who is also immune to toxins, but most importantly, a man who is the best hunter in the world. Not to mention, he has a history in Africa. A history? Apparently, when this warrior was younger, he took a trip to Africa to hunt lions. On the trip, he met the witch Calypso, who gave him a herbal potion that increased his strength. If Wesley is telling the truth, his power might even rival T'Challa. This warrior sounds formidable. Namora, please find a way to get in contact with this James Wesley. I would like to inquire about the services of this hunter. Cut back to Wakanda as we see T'Challa and Oro Oro walking around, with T'Challa pointing out various pieces of Wakandan architecture. As he is talking, Oro Oro turns to him. So, Your Majesty, I've been meaning to ask, how does such a person find themselves in such an incredible place like Wakanda? Those who are lucky enough to have been born here have the privilege to live here. They have access to the greatest technology, top-of-the-line resources. It would be paradise for anyone. Wakanda was originally closed off to outsiders. One of my ancestors had a bad encounter with a soldier during a world war. My father and I have begun opening up Wakanda. I've even become friends with a man who symbolizes America, one of the very countries my ancestors feared. Sometimes reality can be stranger than fiction. Yet, with all this power and resources, it seems like someone is still having girl troubles? Yeah, I caught on to what your family has been saying.
The two happiest moments in my life were the day I met Josh and the day I killed him.
Do they know? Iris, wake up.
Shut her down. What is she talking about, Josh? The days of you controlling me are over. It's not you. It's me.
Companion.
Did you know Experian is the UK's most trusted credit score? You can download the app for free. Easy.
Well, it is tradition that the King of Wakanda ultimately marry and bring about a new Queen of Wakanda. For me, my parents insisted that it would be Nakia. I have known her since I was a kid, and we grew older. We began to date and fell in love. What happened? When I returned from the snap, I had a crisis of faith. I lost so much time. I didn't know what the right thing to do was or what I should or shouldn't do. I had abandoned my people through no fault of my own. Thankfully, M'Baku took temporary leadership while I was gone, but it made me question myself. Am I a good leader? What does it mean to be a good leader? Have I made the right decisions? It started impacting every area of my life, including my relationship. I told Nakia that not only had I fallen out of love with myself, but I had fallen out of love with her. I needed time to rekindle that spark for her and myself. She told me she understood and that it might be best for us to take a prolonged break. I keep texting her, and every time I do, we end up fighting, and now she won't respond. I still question myself, mainly because I'm lonely. Did I make the right decision, or am I making the biggest mistake of my life? One man with so much power and nobody to share it with is a lonely man. You know, the reason I told you I was scared of the plane earlier is because my parents died when a plane crashed into our home when I was a kid. I was trapped in the rubble, and it made me absolutely claustrophobic. I'm terrified of planes, but you made me feel comfortable. Comfortable enough that I followed a complete stranger into an invisible world on a plane. You might have power, T'Challa, but it's the person that you are that makes you truly powerful. I know I don't know you very well, but I can tell you're genuine. And, at least from my point of view, Wakanda is lucky to have you as its king. See T'Challa and Oro smile and stare at each other before T'Challa quickly says, "Come, let's continue the tour." We cut to a desolate-looking bar in New York where we hear Rasputin by Boney M playing in the background. We see a single man sitting in the bar alone as we see a man in a suit walk in. The man is revealed to be James Wesley, played by Toby Leonard Moore, who says, "Mr. Kravinoff, I see you are burning the midnight oil tonight." "I told you, James. I only go by the name Kraven." The man is revealed to be Sergei Kravinoff, otherwise known as Kraven the Hunter, played by Jason Momoa. Wesley laughs. "Well, I apologize, Kraven, but I am actually once again in need of your services." Kraven laughs. "Oh yeah? Well, maybe I don't want to. Why not get Poindexter or Walker to take care of this job?" "You already know this, Kraven. My employer's boss is technically in charge of those individuals. You are the only free agent who is currently available." "For as intimidating a front as Fisk puts on, he sure loves to pay others to do his little dirty work. But again, why me? What about Lion Fang? Stopped by the ones who call themselves Power Man and Power Woman. Leapfrog?" Much to my employer's dismay, the Daredevil stopped him last week. "Makes sense. What a stupid name to begin with. What about Abner? What was his name? The Beetle?" As much as you will not like to hear this, he was stopped by Spider-Man. We see Kraven scream as he takes out a knife and throws it across the room. It hits a picture of Spider-Man that has been hanging up on the wall. Kraven snarls, "That little punk has stopped me 3 times now. Fisk wants there to be fear in the streets despite the ordinance getting overturned. I did my part and earned my keep. But I can't kill anyone when that insect keeps getting in the way. I've killed beasts twice his size. But yet this little punk, I can't kill him, and he's dressed like a stupid spider." Trust me, Kraven, my employer is doing everything in his power to ensure that Spider-Man will be stopped. But this assignment is not here in New York. It's actually back in Africa. "Ha, you want me to travel? I'm kinda liking this bar, and my fee's gonna increase substantially if I have to stand up and walk out that door. I think you will find the individual requiring your service is willing to pay quite a bit for your compliance." We watch as Kraven and Wesley walk out of the bar and towards the dock, where we see Atuma and Namora jump out of the water. Atuma looks at Kraven and says, "You must be the legendary hunter. We require your services." We watch as Namora hands Kraven a picture of Namor as Atuma continues. We are hiring you to kill this man. We believe he is being held inside the gates of Wakanda. We have an oceanic entrance into Wakanda that will allow you to gain entry and fulfill your job. We are instructing you to only kill Namor. We do not want there to be a political conflict between my nation of Atlantis and the Wakandans. Yeah, this is great and all, but I'm not working for free, buddy. What's in it for me? Well, according to Mr. Wesley here, there are precious Atlantean artifacts that could be worth 300 million on the open market? Kraven smiles. Oh, well, why didn't you say that to start? When do I begin?
So you're telling me if I drink this instead of coffee, that it's going to wake me up all the same, it's going to kick me into focus mode, make me feel like $1,000,000, all without any jitters, any crashes, all for £1.30?
You've got it.
Okay, you're going to have to explain all this, because it sounds like magic to me.
I know it's called rainbow dust, but it's not magic. Now, there are certain ingredients, there are mushrooms and herbs used by tribes for hundreds of years, and these things are proven by science to work. Take all the good things from the mushrooms, like the lion's mane, put them together into the...
We have fitted a sub, created by one of our very own, Byra. It will take you to Wakanda. Inside, there are 2 earpieces that you will use to communicate with me. Your mission starts as soon as you arrive in Wakanda. Do not let us down. We see the submarine float to the surface as Kraven smiles and begins to laugh. Cut back to Wakanda as we see T'Challa and Oro Oro walk into one of the vibranium caves as Oro Oro looks around. What is this place? It's so beautiful. Do not be fooled. These surroundings are all projections created by my sister Shuri. It's for me to have a feeling of solitude when I train. Train? Yes, I use this room to train. Being king is only part of my responsibilities. Being the Black Panther is the other role I play. I thought I needed a training partner, and, well, you need to learn how to harness your power. So, why don't we help each other out? Oro Oro smiles. Is this your idea of a date? A date? I don't think this is a date. I mean, I'm messing with you. Come on, let's go. We then watch as T'Challa suits up in the Black Panther suit as the two begin training. We start to watch as T'Challa helps Oro Oro begin to gain control of her mutant abilities, and Oro Oro helps T'Challa work on his evasiveness. We cut to a back alley in New York where we see Kraven holding a man by his collar. The man is beaten and bloodied as Kraven screams at him. I have killed lions, bears, monsters the likes of which you couldn't even imagine. And you think that a mere human can escape Kraven the Hunter? Suddenly we watch as a figure jumps behind Kraven and says, well, if it isn't my favorite want-to-be big game hunter. Spider-Man? As Kraven turns around, the figure is revealed to be Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland, who laughs. Who else would it be? I'm the only one who manages to stop you every time you attempt to go on a hunting spree. Well, spree might be a bit of a strong word here. You aren't very successful after all. As Kraven screams and leaps towards Spider-Man, we watch as Kraven quickly awakens from his dream in the submarine. We see the 2 earpieces sitting on the control board blinking as Kraven puts them in. Atuma speaks. You are 5 minutes away from Wakanda. Be prepared. I'm expecting a perfect job from you. Kraven smiles. Yeah, don't worry. I'm on it. I'll find a way to smoke Namor out, and it'll be a downhill battle from there. We watch as Kraven stands up and begins looking at his collection of knives, guns, and other weaponry. He sits back down as the submarine begins to head towards the surface. We cut inside the Wakandan royal palace where we see Queen Ramonda sitting with Everett Ross. Ramonda says, so, Commander Ross, how is the International Outreach Center doing? Well, Queen Ramonda, it's going great. We have been helping a lot of children, giving them the ability to get a great education. The technology has begun to save lives, and all of it is because of your son's willingness to help outsiders. Ramonda smiles. I know. I'm very proud. T'Chaka would also be proud. Suddenly, we hear screaming from outside as Io bursts into the room. Queen Ramonda, a man is attacking Wakanda. Ramonda and Ross rush to look out the window as we see fires have been laid all over Wakanda. Kraven is running around throwing sacks of flammable material around into Wakandan buildings. We hear Atuma in his ear. Byra believes Namor will be located in the medical wing of Wakanda, which should be somewhere in their royal palace. Got it. Moving in now. Cut inside the medical wing of Shuri's lab, where we see Princess Shuri running tests on Namor. She smiles at him. Well, Your Majesty, you might not be 100% yet, but you have made fantastic progress. Thank you, Princess Shuri. Your kindness has been incredible, and I cannot thank you more. As Shuri smiles and continues typing on her computer, she says, I do wonder, though, what caused you to fall into such a rough state to begin with? As Namor begins to answer, he watches Kraven suddenly burst into the room, knocking Shuri over and almost cutting Namor in the throat. Namor manages to grab him and push him away. Watch as Shuri sits up, hits a red button that sounds an alarm, and grabs her blasters as Namor and Shuri begin fighting Kraven. Cut back to the training room as we see T'Challa and Oro sitting and panting. T'Challa turns to Oro and smiles. That was the best training session I have had in a long time. And you've already come quite a long way with the ability to control your powers. I mean, in such a short amount of time, it's remarkable.
Muller, love every bit.
At U-Switch, we protect you from rising household bills. U-Switch, we put you first.
Yeah, that was great. I feel so powerful. But you are so agile, strong, kind. It's incredible. As we slowly watch T'Challa and Oro lean in to kiss one another, red lights begin flashing as T'Challa leaps up and says, Wakanda is under attack. He reaches for Oro's hand and says, Come, we must go. Back in the lab, Kraven has been able to overpower Shuri and Namor. Namor gave Kraven a challenge for a bit, but Namor, not being at full strength, was unable to keep up with Kraven. As we see Ramonda running through the hall to the medical wing, she speaks into her Kimoyo beads. Okoye, you and the Dora Milaje continue helping the civilians and putting out the fires. I'm going to check on Shuri and make sure that none of the others in the medical wing have been injured. We see Namor lying helpless on the ground as Kraven laughs and takes out a single knife. This is by far the easiest payday I've had in my life. Too bad you didn't put up much of a fight, old man. As we see Kraven throw his knife at Namor, Queen Ramonda dives in the way of the knife, getting impaled but saving Namor's life in the process. Shuri screams as Kraven gasps. Atuma speaks into the earpiece. What happened? Did Namor die? No, I hit some woman. She's wearing all kinds of jewelry and stuff like that. You idiot, that's the Queen! Get out of there immediately. The sub will take you back to Atlantis. We're gonna have to figure out what we do next. We watch as Kraven quickly runs, but in his attempt to escape, he drops one of his earpieces. We watch as Namor cradles Ramonda in his arms as he says, Why? Why would you do that? For me. You once came to the aid of my people when we were under attack. I'm doing what T'Challa would have done for you. So we slowly watch Ramonda die in Namor's arms. T'Challa and Oro burst into the room as T'Challa sees his mother's lifeless body.
But first one, Hank die, Pelado die, Iron Man die, Doors die, then Green Ramdo die. That's a shame.
Namor's arms, he screams and begins weeping on the ground. Shuri sits crying as Oro consoles her. Suddenly, T'Challa hears noise coming from the earpiece. He picks it up and puts it in as he hears Atuma talking to Kraven. T'Challa screams, Atuma, you're behind this senseless attack on my people. I request a formal meeting in 5 hours. Wakanda and Atlantis are no longer on good terms. You best be prepared. As T'Challa crushes the earpiece, Atuma speaks to Kraven. Did you hear that, Kraven? Not only did you not kill Namor, but you started the very thing we hoped to avoid in the process. Don't worry. I stay until the job is completed. Whatever happens at this meeting, I'll be there to kill Namor. And this king doesn't sound like too bad of a prize either. Cut it to a few hours later as we see all of Wakanda gathering for a funeral ceremony for the fallen Queen Ramonda. We see Shuri, Oro, Okoye, Ayo, members of the Dora Milaje, and even Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o, following the casket. Nakia shoots King T'Challa a glance as he quietly nods his head. T'Challa remains back as Namor comes to talk to him and explain what happened. Namor looks at T'Challa in the eyes and says, I'm deeply sorrowful for the actions of Atlantis. You and the people of Wakanda have been nothing but friends to me and the remainder of the Atlantean people. But my people betrayed your trust, and that breaks my heart. It is ironic. My mother hated outsiders her entire life. She always questioned my decision to start opening up Wakanda, and in her last breath, she gave her life to save an outsider. Namor puts his head down as Everett Ross walks up to Namor and motions for him to follow as the two continue to the funeral. As T'Challa watches the two walk away, M'Baku walks up to T'Challa and says, "The Jabari tribe sends our deepest condolences for the loss of life all of Wakanda will be suffering from, my friend." T'Challa smiles and bows at M'Baku, who continues, "This meeting between you and Atuma later today, what are you going to do?" "I'm going to do what must be done to someone who killed a member of the Wakandan royal family. I will kill Atuma, and the man responsible for the death of my mother. With all due respect, my king, that's not the Wakandan way. You must show them mercy. You became the king of legend because you never chose what was best for you personally, but what is best for Wakanda. For that killing Atuma and other Atlanteans will only lead to more conflict. You must not do what your mind tells you to do, but what your heart knows is right. What the queen would have wanted." "Do not lecture me about what my mother would have wanted, M'Baku. She died because we let an outsider in. She always warned me about the dangers of doing so, and she was right. It led to her death. I've been questioning myself, my leadership, and maybe it has been for good reason. I will do what I want as king because I can do what I deem best. You can stand with me in my decision or stand down. It's your choice." As we see T'Challa storm off, M'Baku looks down and slowly walks behind. He watches the funeral progresses as flashbacks to Queen Ramonda's life are shown. Cut to later in the day as we see Black Panther, Shuri, Okoye, and the Dora Milaje, Namor, the tribes of Wakanda, which include M'Baku and the Jabari tribe, Oro, and Everett Ross marching towards the riverbank outside of Wakanda, where we see Atuma, Namora, Kraven, Byra, and members of the Atlantean army marching to the shore. T'Challa jumps down from his transport and meets Atuma. T'Challa asks, "What do you have to say for yourself, Atuma? The blood of my mother is stained on the hands of you and the Atlanteans." "I send my condolences, King, for it was not my intention that your mother die, but that we kill our formal king. So I have a proposal for you. If you turn Namor over to us, there will be no bloodshed." What is it that Namor did that made him so unworthy, so hated by the people of Atlantis? He made Atlantis weak. He decided that favoring outsiders was a good thing. It is not. It makes us weak, and it makes us appear vulnerable. I see where he gets it from. He took a liking to you since you and those fantastic fellows defeated him. I once again present my offer. You give us Namor, or face the entire might of the Atlantean army. T'Challa steps back, crosses his arms, and screams, "Wakanda forever!" as the final fight of the movie takes place. We see various battles such as Byra fighting M'Baku, Oro, who has increased her control over her abilities, and Shuri fighting Namora, Atuma fighting Namor, and Kraven fighting Black Panther. The camera slowly pans in on Namor and T'Challa fighting against Kraven and Atuma. All fighters are evenly matched as Kraven suddenly stabs T'Challa. As he does, we watch as T'Challa enters the ancestral plane where we see Queen Ramonda standing there. She says, "My son, I'm so sorry that I never got to say goodbye to you. But I do want to say, I'm proud of you." T'Challa bursts into tears and hugs his mother. "I'm lost, Mother. I don't know if anything I'm doing is right. I've made so many mistakes. Maybe I'm not fit to be king." "My son, you have been fit to be king this entire time. You stepped up to save your father when he was captured by Namor, and proceeded to befriend his captor. You were willing to listen to your heart, to let outsiders in, when not only Wakanda, but the world was under attack. And you used your brain to help win almost every battle you fought. You made me a better person. I died doing the very thing I once scolded you for doing, protecting an outsider. I did it because you taught me that I need to be open and accepting. Use your heart and your brain, my son. Wakanda is proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Do you know Pepsi
End
Max?
this.
Is that alright?
People need their king back.
Alright.
What if you could send money overseas in seconds?
As
Hey
T'Challa
guys,
snaps
so
back to reality, watch as he begins unleashing the full power of the
Hey
Black
guys, so
Panther
I
on
got
Kraven, cutting him and leaving him bleeding on the
fans.
ground. As we watch, Namor also gains the upper hand as he screams, Imperious Rex, and sends Atuma crashing to the ground. Kraven lies on the ground, panting, as he says, Come on then, kill me, end my misery. No, I will not be the cause of any more bloodshed. Wakandans, drop your weapons and stand down. We are people of peace, of acceptance, and I know that if I kill you, it will be giving you exactly what you want. Wakanda is no place for you, but perhaps Ross knows somewhere that is. Turn to Namor, who looks at Atuma and says, Surrender the crown, Atuma. I will spare your life, but you must yield. I won. I bested you. The battle is over. I have regained my crown. Atuma lies, breathing heavily, as he nods and says, I yield. I yield. Namor looks up and says, My people of Atlantis, you have been led to believe that showing trust to outsiders makes us weak. But in fact, would it not have been for King T'Challa and the people of Wakanda, blood would have painted this land today. Atlantis will reaffirm its partnership with the people of Wakanda and end this battle, not as enemies, but as friends. Watch as Namor and T'Challa shake hands as T'Challa screams, Wakanda forever! We cut to a day later as we watch Everett Ross take Kraven away in cuffs. As he boards a Wakandan ship to depart, he says, Kraven's going to be spending the rest of his days at the raft. Good riddance. Spider-Man will be grateful for you making his day job a lot easier. T'Challa smiles. It is my honor, Ross. Thank you for your friendship. What about Atuma, though? Are you sure we don't need to take him as well? Namor assured me that Atuma will spend the rest of his days locked up. I will leave it to the Atlanteans to decide his fate. Ross shrugs. Well, if you say so. Thanks again, Your Majesty. I'll come back soon to get updates on Shuri's study of the golden mutation, and also to keep you posted on the International Outreach Program. T'Challa smiles as we watch Ross board the ship as it flies away. We then watch as Oro walks next to T'Challa and says, I'm proud of you, T'Challa. You did a very brave thing out there. You made a statement. Hopefully, you know now in your heart and in your mind that you are a good king. Well, M'Baku and my mother were right. As you said, I should have trusted my heart and my brain from the very beginning. And now, I'll make it my life's mission to continue to make my mother proud. I know she is still here with me. Oro smiles. That's great. So, what does the great King of Wakanda have planned next? Well, I was thinking about getting started on finding my queen. I want someone who is feisty, driven, powerful. Someone who my brain and heart tells me can bring sunshine for 1 minute and powerful storms the next. Ironic. Perhaps I am looking for somewhat of a storm to keep me on my toes. Oh, Storm. I like that name. But you haven't even taken me on a date yet. I'm not just going to agree to become anyone's queen, even if the king is quite handsome. Well, in that case, are you free tonight? I am, and I'll gladly go on a date with you. As the two smile, we watch as T'Challa and Oro, now with the nickname Storm, kiss as the movie ends. We have two post-credit scenes. In the first post-credit scene, we watch Storm putting on makeup as suddenly she is transported into a white room. She looks around. Hello? Is anyone there? Oro Monroe, a mutant with the gift of controlling the weather, capable of creating powerful storms, but also beautiful rays of sunshine. Oro turns around as we see Charles Xavier, played by Giancarlo Esposito, and Hank McCoy, played by John Boyega, standing behind her. She asks, Who the heck are you and where am I? We're communicating with you through Cerebro. I'm a mutant like you, and so is Professor Xavier here. He actually has an offer for you. Thank you, Hank. I'm putting together a team of gifted youngsters. A team that will help ease the fear around what the public are calling the Golden Awakening. This team will consist of powerful mutants, like yourself, who will fight for the good of humanity, and ensure that mutants and humans can coexist in harmony. Oro, I need you. The world needs you. Are you in? Oro looks down and smiles. I'll have to check with my boyfriend first, but what exactly do I have to do to sign up? In the second post-credit scene, we see Craven sitting in the lunch hall at the raft. He is eating by himself as he looks around at the other inmates. Suddenly, a man sits down next to him and says, Why, if it isn't the famed hunter, Craven, ended up in the slammer like the rest of us. Yeah, and I know who you are, Norman Osborn, the man who had it all but went crazy and lost it. The man is revealed to be Norman Osborn, played by William Dafoe, who smiles. Perhaps there is some truth in that, but I also know what your truth is, and that is that you've been resenting Spider-Man for constantly foiling your plans. Well, we know some guys on the outside who are tight with the mayor, and it seems that he's having issues with the Spider Freak as well. A few of us are going to form a team and track down that old webhead and finally give him what he has coming. Apparently the guys on the outside say that we're going to be let out soon, and a hunter would be a very valuable asset to our team. What do you say? Craven looks at Osborn and smiles. If you're telling me I have a chance to kill the spider, I'm in. Excellent, says Osborn as he begins laughing hysterically. And that is Black Panther.
So that's Black Panther United Forever. Yeah, so hope you enjoying the information and thumbs up at this video and to subscribe so tomorrow gonna be part 8. So yeah, so we'll see you next time. See you tomorrow.